Are we living the prophecies? Krazennikov'S views on the spiritual crisis of Europe revealed. If you are fascinated by mysteries and prophecies, be sure to subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. Let's explore Sławik Kraszennikows' visions together, the young Russian mystic whose predictions are leaving the world on alert. Political and spiritual transformations in Europe. Krazennikov predicted a future marked by profound political and spiritual transformations, with a special focus in Europe. According to him, times of deep crisis and trials would already be in motion. These trials would be both material and spiritual, and Europe would become the center of intense spiritual battles, where faith would be put to the test. Throughout history, we have witnessed several political changes on the European continent, but Krazennikov spoke of something even deeper, a break in power structures that would carry the nations on the brink of collapse. For him, social tensions would grow and would be accompanied by financial crises that would affect the way of life of millions of people. Throughout these trials, a crucial question is raised. Would today's society be spiritually prepared to face these challenges? Krazennikov warned that in the absence of solid faith, many souls could get lost in the face of difficulties. Have you ever reflected on the importance of faith in times of crisis? If so, share your opinions in the comments below and enjoy subscribing to the channel. Economic and political crises. Krazennikov prophecy. Krazennikov predicted that Europe would face devastating economic crises, and it seems that we are seeing the first signs of this in the current scenario. He spoke of entire nations suffering from financial collapses, which would generate political and social instability. However, the mystic believed that these crises would not be simple consequences of political mismanagement, but signs of something much greater, a global purification. These predictions become even more impressive in the light of recent events, such as increased tensions between European countries, energy crisis, and increasing inflation. However, according to Krazennikov, all this would be just the beginning of a series of more severe trials. Do you believe we are at the beginning of a major global change? If you think so, leave your comment and share this video so that more people reflect on these important issues. Natural disasters and warning signs. In addition to political and economic crises, Krazennikov spoke of natural disasters that would reach Europe with great intensity. Earthquakes, floods, and fires would be signs of warning for humanity to reconsider its actions and seek spiritual reconnection. What makes these prophecies even more shocking is the fact that many of these events are already taking place. The increased frequency of natural disasters such as devastating forest fires and catastrophic floods raises questions about the future. For Krazennikov, these phenomena are not mere coincidences, but alerts for humanity to turn its eyes to the spiritual. If you also believe that recent climate events are signs of something bigger, enjoy this video and subscribe to the channel. Do not miss the next episodes, where we will discuss these intriguing topics more deeply. Spiritual renewal. The new horizon after the crisis. Krazennikov saw not just destruction in their visions. He believed that after the period of Great Tribulation, Europe and the world would experience unprecedented spiritual renewal. People, tired of materialism and constant crises, would begin to look for something deeper, the reconnection with the divine. According to him, this renewal would be the point of turning to a new era of peace and harmony. However, this spiritual rebirth would not be easy. Only those who kept their faith during trials would be prepared to live this new era. Have you ever wondered if we are about to see a spiritual transformation in our society? If so, help spread this message by sharing this video and inviting more people to participate in this discussion. Religious trials. Faith test in Europe. In his views, Krazennikov saw a time when the faith of Europeans would be tested in unprecedented ways. He spoke of the growth of disbelief and materialism, which would shake the religious foundations of many societies. However, it also predicted that, in the midst of this disbelief, spiritual revival would arise among those who resisted negative influences. For Krazennikov, the difficulties would not only be external but also internal, and each person would face a spiritual struggle. He warned of the importance of maintaining faith in times of uncertainty, for it would be the compass that would guide souls through darkness. Are you prepared to face this faith test? If so, subscribe to the channel and don't miss more videos about these impressive prophecies. Today's events, reflections on the prophetic future. Many believe that Krazennikov'S prophecies have already begun to materialize. The political, economic, and natural disasters we are currently experiencing are seen as signs that we are entering the period of global purification it has foresaw. The question that arises is, are we ready to come? Is Europe really prepared to face these profound changes? Each person should reflect on his own spiritual journey and consider whether he is ready for trials Krazennikov anticipated. If you think this content is important, share this video with your network and help spread this message. Conclusion: a call to reflection and action. Sławik Kraszennikows' prophecies are an invitation to reflect on the future of humanity and the role of spirituality in times of crisis. He predicted a period of great trials, but also of spiritual rebirth, where those who remain faithful will find a new era of peace. The question that remains is, are we ready for this future? If you are intrigued by these revelations, subscribe to the channel and share this video so that more people can join this discussion about Krazennikov'S prophecies and the future of humanity. Don't forget to leave your comment below. We want to know what you think. Economic and political crises in the prophecy of Krazennikov. Krazennikov warned that Europe would face a number of major economic and political crises. He believed that the nations, who once led the global scenario, would experience a financial and social collapse that would slaughter their stability. According to him, these crises would not be an isolated event, but a chain of events that would shake the continent, marking the beginning of a great global transformation. These predictions become even more relevant when we observe the economic challenges that Europe has been facing in recent years. Instability in financial markets, growing economic inequality, and frequent changes in political leaders seem to be in line with the prophecies of the young mystic. Krazennikov suggested that these events would be the manifestation of a deeper spiritual crisis, in which material values would dominate nations and remove the people from a life of faith and purpose. For the young seer, the global financial crisis would be partly a consequence of the spiritual imbalance of humanity. Money and power would become the new idols, leading to moral and ethical decline. This prophecy carries an important message to the present day. To what extent are we allowing material riches to sway our choices and actions? Leave your opinion in the comments and share this video with friends who are also reflecting on the future of Europe and the world. In the political field, Krazennikov predicted the rise and fall of rulers, some brought to power by force, others deprived of their own flaws. He spoke of social revolts, where citizens would lose confidence in their leaders and protest against systemic injustices. This view of growing revolts seems to reflect the current scenario of political instability in various parts of Europe, where people are expressing dissatisfaction with their governments and demanding radical changes. But Krazennikov didn't just predict despair. He believed that these political and economic crises would make room for deep renewal. There would be a reorganization of social, political, and economic structures, in which leaders most aligned with spiritual values would emerge to guide humanity to a new period of peace and harmony. It is important to reflect. We are prepared to live a transformation so deep? What can we do, individually and as a society, to face these crises in a positive way? If these questions also resonate with you, subscribe to the channel and keep following this series of videos, where we explore the prophecies that can shape our future. However, before a true renewal, Krazennikov warned that Europe would have great difficulties. He saw a period of darkness, where conflicts between nations would intensify, with some countries entering political collapse. During this time, people's faith would be tested, and those who could stay firm in their spirituality would be those who would survive the storm. He warned that it would not be enough to wait passively for these changes. It was necessary to prepare spiritually for the difficult times they would come. Do you believe we are ready for these changes? Are modern societies, with their focus on materialism and immediacy, prepared to face such deep crises? These are questions we must consider seriously. Help spread this reflection by sharing the video and subscribing to the channel. We have reached a critical point of history. Just as Krazennikov predicted, the signs of an imminent transformation are before us. But the real question is, will we be able to learn from past mistakes and embrace a new way of living more aligned with spiritual and human values? If you are enjoying the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. Natural disasters as signs of warning. Sławik Kraszennikow predicted that natural disasters would be one of the main warning signs for humanity. He spoke of a series of catastrophes that would reach various regions of Europe, such as earthquakes, floods, and devastating fires. These events, according to him, would be more than mere natural tragedies, but divine warnings for people to reconsider their lives and seek a deeper spiritual reconnection. In recent years, we have seen an intensification of extreme climate events. Europe has faced large-scale forest fires, devastating floods and earthquakes that shake not only cities, but also people's confidence in the future. Are these events really connected to the prophetic warnings of Krazennikov? He believed yes, and that these disasters would be the way nature would reflect the spiritual crisis of humanity. He also warned that these natural disasters would not be isolated events, but part of a larger chain of events that would culminate in a global purification. In their visions, these phenomena would be one last chance for people to reconsider their lives, change their attitudes, and turn to spirituality. Those who ignored these signs could be preparing for even more difficult times. Have you ever thought about the role of nature as a reflection of the spiritual state of humanity? If so, comment below and share this video so that more people can participate in this reflection. The interesting thing about Krazennikov's prophecies is that he did not see these disasters as punishments, but as learning opportunities. For him, humanity could be stronger from these disasters if people chose to respond with faith and solidarity. He believed that in times of crisis, people's spirituality and faith could be strengthened, leading to global renewal. This renaissance, however, would only be possible if people saw beyond suffering and understood the message behind the disasters. Are we prepared to see beyond the tragedies and seek a deeper understanding of the events around us? For Krazennikov, natural disasters were the physical expression of a greater spiritual battle. As materialism and disbelief grew in the world, nature would react, as if trying to awaken people to the importance of a balanced spiritual life. If you believe current events can be signs of something bigger, be sure to subscribe to the channel and share this video with your network. Another Krazennikov forecast concerned the fact that these natural disasters would achieve those places where disbelief were greater. He believed that in some regions of Europe, where materialism dominated, catastrophes would be more severe, while in places where faith was stronger, people would find divine protection. This contrast would serve to show the world that spirituality could be a shield against adversity. Have you ever wondered why some places seem to suffer more from disasters than others? Is it possible that faith and spirituality play a role in the way we face these tragedies? Krazennikov believed it firmly, and he invites us to reflect on how our connection with the divine can help us overcome even the most devastating challenges. Finally, Krazennikov warned that nature would continue to send signs until humanity finally learned its lessons. He saw these disasters as part of a purification cycle that would inevitably culminate in a new era of peace and harmony. However, he made it clear that this spiritual rebirth would not come easily. It would be necessary for people to go through trials and show their ability to maintain faith in times of darkness. Are we ready to hear the warnings that nature is sending us? And most importantly, are we willing to change our lives and our worldview to align our actions with a greater purpose? If you believe these issues are important, share this video and help spread the Krazennikov message so that more people reflect on the future that awaits us. If you are enjoying the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. Spiritual renewal, the Renaissance after the crises. Among Krazennikov's most impactful views, the belief is that after the period of trials, crises, and natural disasters, Europe, as well as the rest of the world, would experience a deep spiritual renewal. This rebirth would not come immediately or easily. It would be the result of a long journey of purification, where people would have to go through difficulties and trials to meet the path of faith. Krazennikov predicted that society, after facing so many challenges, would begin to seek spiritual responses. He believed that materialism and disbelief, which had long dominated modern life, would lose their strength. People, exhausted by political and economic crises, would turn to something more lasting and true, spirituality. This process would not be instantaneous, but a slow awakening that would culminate in a global spiritual rebirth. This view leads us to an important reflection. Are we ready for a spiritual transformation? With so many problems and challenges around us, many people are already questioning the meaning of life and seeking answers in something greater. If you believe we are on the verge of spiritual renewal, subscribe to the channel and share this video so that more people can reflect on this crucial moment of the story. Krazennikov also talked about the role of new generations in this renewal process. He saw young people as those who would carry the torch of spirituality in a fragmented world. According to him, many young people, tired of the old structures of power and the emptiness of materialism, would begin to seek a new way of living, more connected with spiritual values and nature. For Krazennikov, this spiritually renewed youth would be the foundation of a new era of peace and harmony. Do you believe we are seeing a spiritual awakening in the new generations? There are signs that many young people are distancing themselves from old standards and seeking more authentic forms of spirituality. This movement may be the beginning of the era of spiritual renewal that Krazennikov has prophesied. Leave your opinion in the comments and subscribe to the channel so as not to lose the next videos about this fascinating theme. Another crucial point in Krazennikov prophecy is that this spiritual renewal would not be uniform or immediate. Some people and nations would resist this transformation, attached to materialism and power. However, he believed that eventually the light of spirituality would prevail. There would be a separation between those who would be willing to follow the spiritual path and those who would choose to remain in the darkness of materialism. This division would be the end point of a long battle between good and evil. Krazennikov saw this spiritual renewal as a unique opportunity for humanity to reconnect with the divine. For him, people would have to abandon old habits and beliefs that were rooted in materialism and selfishness. The new age would be marked by solidarity, peace, and the pursuit of spiritual truth. However, this renewal would require sacrifices, as it would be necessary to undergo great trials to achieve a new state of consciousness. Have you ever wondered what a society would be like based on spiritual values? Krazennikov believed this new world would be fairer, more compassionate, and more connected with the divine. Is it a future for which it is worth fighting? If you agree, help spread this message by sharing this video and subscribing to the channel. Finally, Krazennikov believed that this renewal process would be inevitable, but that the speed with which it would happen would depend on individual and collective choices. The faster people woke up to spirituality, the sooner the world would enter a new era of peace and harmony. He also warned that time was running out and that humanity needed to act quickly to avoid further suffering. Are we ready to embrace this spiritual transformation? Or will we continue to ignore the signs and attach to materialism? Krazennikov has left us with this powerful reflection. The future of humanity is in our hands, and it is up to each of us to choose the way forward. If you believe this message is important, subscribe to the channel, like this video and share it with your friends and family. The more people awaken to the importance of spirituality, the faster we can live in a more peaceful and harmonious world. If you are enjoying the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. Religious trials, the European test of Europe. Krazennikov predicted that one of the biggest challenges Europe would face would be an unprecedented faith test. He warned that people's faith would be put to the test in many ways, from individual spiritual crises to growing antagonism against spiritual religions and practices. For him, this period of disbelief and materialism would be one of the biggest obstacles to be overcome before any spiritual renewal. In modern times, we have seen an increase in secularization, especially in European countries, where religion has lost room for materialism and skepticism. Krazennikov prophesied that this removal from faith would be one of the greatest spiritual challenges of our age. He saw materialism and the growth of disbelief as a trap that would lead many to get lost spiritually. Have you ever reflected on the impact of materialism on our lives? Leave your opinion in the comments and subscribe to the channel to follow more discussions about Krazennikov's prophecies. He also spoke of a period when traditional religions would be discredited, and many people would lose confidence in their religious institutions. However, Krazennikov saw this as an opportunity for true faith to emerge among those who kept their connection with the divine, regardless of institutions. Those who remain firm in their spirituality, despite the adversities, would be the leaders of the new spiritual age that would arise after the crises. If this forecast resonates with you, share this video and subscribe to the channel. Faith, for Krazennikov, was not simply adherence to religious dogmas, but a sincere search for the truth and the divine, especially in times of doubt and trial. An intriguing aspect of Krazennikov's prophecies is that he saw the test of faith as a spiritual battle, not only individual but also collective. Europe, according to him, would face a crisis of spiritual identity, where secularism and materialism would become the greatest challenges for people. He believed that those who could overcome these negative influences and maintain their faith, no matter what difficulties, would be spiritually prepared for the times of renewal that would come. This period of trial would not be easy. Krazennikov spoke of many souls who would be lost, blinded by the power of money, disbelief, and incessant search for material pleasures. He saw this as part of the divine plan, where only those who had an unshakable faith would pass by testing and would contribute to the spiritual reconstruction of Europe and the world. Do you believe we are living this test of faith prophesied by Krazennikov? Are we being challenged to maintain our spirituality in an increasingly materialistic world? Share your thoughts in the comments and help spread this message by sharing the video with your friends and family. Another important point that Krazennikov mentioned in his views was the emergence of alternative spiritual movements, which would try to fill the void left by traditional religions. He warned that while some of these movements had good intentions, many of them could take people even further away from spiritual truth. Discernment, according to Krazennikov, would be essential during this period, so that people would not fall into false teachings that would only deepen their spiritual confusion. Have you noticed how many are looking for new forms of spirituality today? Many are looking for something that makes sense in their lives, especially in times of uncertainty. But it is essential to question, are we being guided on the right way? Krazennikov invites us to reflect deeply on where we are depositing our faith. If you believe this is an important issue, subscribe to the channel and share this video so that more people can participate in this crucial discussion. Finally, Krazennikov warned us that this test of faith would be long and hard, but necessary for the purification of humanity. Only those who could pass him would be ready to experience the new era of peace and harmony that would arise after crises. He emphasized that faith should not only be a matter of belief, but also active practice, especially in the most difficult times. Are we ready to maintain our faith, even when the world around us seems to crumble? Krazennikov calls us to reflect on the depth of our spirituality and challenges us to remain firm, regardless of trials. If this message makes sense to you, be sure to subscribe to the channel and share this video with those you believe you also need to listen to this message. If you are enjoying the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. Current events, reflections on the fulfillment of prophecies. Sławik Kraszennikows' predictions, made decades ago, seem to be echoing distinctive in the context of current events. Many people believe that we are beginning to see the fulfillment of the prophecies he has left, especially in relation to economic crises, natural disasters, and spiritual conflicts that affect the world, with a special focus in Europe. Are we living the first signs of this global purification that he predicted? One of the most notable aspects of Krazennikov's prophecies is its description of a Europe shaken by economic and political crises. In recent years, we have witnessed a number of economic instability in several European nations, from increasing inflation to energy and financial crises that put the political stability of many countries in check. Many wonder, are we living the beginning of the economic collapse that Krazennikov predicted? If you have also reflected on this, share your opinion in the comments and subscribe to the channel to continue following this deep analysis of prophecy. In addition, the young mystic spoke of an increase in the frequency and intensity of natural disasters as signs of warning. And in fact, we have seen a significant increase in extreme climate events such as floods, earthquakes, and devastating fires. Some regions of Europe, which were historically not affected by these phenomena, now face unprecedented environmental challenges. The question that remains is, are these disasters the signs of purification that Krazennikov predicted? If you believe these events are connected to something bigger, subscribe to the channel and help spread this message. Krazennikov also spoke of a period of disbelief and spiritual crises that would shake the religious foundations of Europe. He predicted that materialism and disbelief would spread quickly, leading people to distance themselves from spirituality. For many, what we are seeing today is just that, a society each time farther from the traditional religion and seeking answers outside religious institutions. Secular movements and increased skepticism reflect this spiritual crisis. The question is, how can we meet the path of faith in an increasingly disbelief world? Leave your thoughts in the comments and share this video to broaden this reflection. Many believe that Krazennikov's prophecy about spiritual separation is also materializing. According to him, in the midst of crises, there would be a division between those who kept their faith and those who would be lost in materialism and disbelief. This separation seems to be happening, as we see more and more people by choosing alternative spiritual paths or, in contrast, plunging into skepticism. Are we living this spiritual division? If you think so, share this video and subscribe to the channel to continue following our discussions about the spiritual future of humanity. An interesting point that Krazennikov mentioned is that these events would indeed be opportunities for humanity to reconsider their priorities. He saw crises and disasters as called awakening, so that people would turn their attention to what really matters: spiritual connection, love of neighbor, and the search for a higher purpose. He believed that through these trials people would be able to reconnect with their divine essence. Are we taking advantage of these opportunities to grow spiritually? Are current crises pushing us to a deeper reflection on our lives? If you believe yes, subscribe to the channel and share this video with your network, helping more people reflect on these challenging times. Finally, Krazennikov left us a message of hope. Despite the trials that humanity would face, he believed that at the end of this whole period of purification would come an era of peace and spiritual harmony. This view of a new era brings hope amid chaos. However, he made it clear that this was only to those who were spiritually prepared and had kept their faith during difficulty times. Do you believe we are at the beginning of a great spiritual transformation? And more importantly, are we ready for this new era? Krazennikov invites us to reflect on our choices and the importance of maintaining our strong spirituality during the challenges. If you think this message is important, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with your friends and family. If you are enjoying the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. Is Europe prepared to face changes? One of the great questions raised by the prophecies of Sławik Kraszennikow is whether Europe, and the world in general, is prepared for the great transformations he has foresaw. Faced with economic crises, natural disasters, and growing spiritual disbelief, Krazennikov envisioned a Europe that would face purification times. He believed that these trials would lead the continent to a deep renewal, but only if people were prepared to face and overcome the spiritual challenges ahead. In observing the current scenario, it is evident that Europe is going through moments of great tension. Economic instability, migratory issues, and political conflicts have generated debates about the continent's future. In addition, environmental crises and extreme climate events have shaken several regions. Would these be the initial signs of Krazennikov's predicted changes? If you believe we are seeing the fulfillment of these prophecies, leave your comment below and share this video with those who are also interested in the subject. Krazennikov emphasized that the way to overcome these trials would not only be in material or political solutions, but in the spiritual reconnection of people. He saw Europe plunged into materialism and disbelief, and believed that the only way to escape destruction would be a massive return to faith. This return, however, would not be easy. People would have to actively choose the spiritual in a world increasingly dominated by skepticism and the search for material pleasures. Is modern society willing to make this spiritual return? With the advance of technology and increased secularism, many question whether humanity still has room for faith in its lives. Krazennikov warned that trials would be increasingly intense until people finally decided to find the path of the divine again. If you believe we urgently need a spiritual awakening, subscribe to the channel and share this video so that more people can reflect on this issue. In addition, Krazennikov spoke of a spiritual division that would happen during this period of change. There would be those who would remain firm in their faith and those who would be lost in the traps of materialism. He saw this separation as inevitable, a reflection of the spiritual choices that each individual would make throughout the trials. For him, Europe would be a spiritual battlefield, where true faith would be tested intensely and prolonged. Do you believe we are seeing this spiritual division these days? Many people are seeking new forms of spirituality, while others move more and more from any religious practice. This divergence seems to align with Krazennikov predictions, and leads us to question what the continent's spiritual future will look like. If this question also interests you, Subscribe to the channel and leave your comment on what you think of this spiritual separation. Another relevant point in Krazennikov'S prophecies is the idea that the European nations, which once led the world in economic and political power, would be the most impacted by spiritual crises. He saw Europe as the main stage of this great transformation, where the world powers would lose their status and go through a period of decline before they could be reborn spiritually. According to him, this fall of the powers would be a painful process, but necessary for the continent to be able to be reborn more purely and spiritually. Are we ready to see such a drastic change in the balance of world power? Is Europe ready to face an economic and political decline while seeking spiritual renewal? These are deep questions Krazennikov invites us to reflect. If you believe this transformation is inevitable, share this video and discuss the theme with your friends and family. Finally, Krazennikov believed that, despite all the trials, there was hope. He predicted that at the end of this period of great challenges, a renewed Europe would emerge, spiritually stronger and more aligned with divine values. However, he warned that this new age would only be achieved if people were willing to sacrifice materialism and seek a life of faith and purpose. Are we ready for this sacrifice? Krazennikov believed that the choice was in the hands of each individual, and that the fate of humanity would depend on our ability to embrace spirituality in times of crisis. If this message makes sense to you, subscribe to the channel and share the video to help spread this reflection. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. And don't forget to activate the notifications to receive our videos.